立法會主席。 發言，石禮謙議員就香港特別行政區廉政公署2016年報向本會發言。石禮謙議員。
Thank you, Mr. President. In my capacity as a member of the Advisory Committee on Corruption, I hereby brief members on the Independent Commission Against Corruption (ICAC) Annual Report 2016, tabled in the Council today. The ICAC has been fighting corruption with a holistic approach through effective law enforcement, prevention, and education. It discharges its enforcement duties impartially, making corruption a high-risk crime, and the unscrupulous dare not be corrupt. It enhances system and rules to eliminate corruption loopholes so that the greedy cannot be corrupt. It also reaches out to the community, endeavoring to change the public's attitude from meek tolerance to rejection. Through the subtle influence, the public abhors corruption and will not want to be corrupt. In 2016, the corruption situation in Hong Kong remains stable and under control. The ICAC received 2,891 non-election-related corruption complaints, of which 63% were targeted at the private sector, 29% related to government departments, and 8% involved public bodies, a pattern that has been maintained for a number of years. Despite a slight increase of 3% in corruption complaints compared to 2015, the ICAC annual survey 2016 conducted by an independent research institute indicated no sign of deterioration. According to the annual survey, only 1.2% of the respondents have come across corruption in the past 12 months, which is 0.1% lower than the previous year. The public stay vigilant and intolerant against corruption. Using a 0 to 10 rating scale, of which 0 represents total rejection and 10 total tolerance of corruption. The mean score of tolerance to corruption was 0.7. And the public also indicated support for the ICAC's anti-corruption work. 2016 was an election year in Hong Kong, and the ICAC received a total of 858 complaints about election malpractices and illegal activities. To uphold clean and fair elections, the ICAC have been taking vigorous law enforcement actions against corrupt practices. In collaboration with the relevant government departments, the ICAC have been reviewing the electoral legislation and procedures to ensure a sound and reliable voter registration system and to disseminate anti-vote rigging messages through extensive publicity and pre-election briefings to appeal to candidates and the electors to abide by the law. Noting that the corruption-facilitated tender rigging activities remain a concern for the public, the ICAC took a robust enforcement action against such activities, combined with efforts to provide corruption prevention advice on the Building Rehabilitation Facilitating Services, the pilot scheme, launched by the URA. Besides, corruption prevention leaflets, training videos, and toolkits on building management were published and updated to deliver anti-corruption messages to owners, corporations, and relevant parties and organizations involved in building management and maintenance. During the year, ICAC received 16 complaints concerning corruption-facilitated tender rigging activities, which accounted for a small percentage of total number of complaints. To stay abreast of the latest social development and areas of public concern, A wide range of best practices checklists were published during the year, namely, sample code of conduct for managers and staff of kindergartens, corruption prevention guides on administration of public-private partnership program for healthcare services, and integrity and corruption prevention guide on managing relationship with public servants. 69 assignment reports on the system and procedures of government departments, public bodies, and non-government organizations were completed, and advice were provided to public and private organizations on nearly 1,500 occasions to strengthen their internal control. The ICAC also offers various integrity training programs to senior civil servants and launched a 3-year ethics promotion program for a listed company to assist the management of private organizations in enhancing corporate governance. Since 2016, the ICAC began to roll out a territory-wide All for Integrity Education and Publicity program by reaching out to different strata of the community through an array of activities, including a slogan and icon design competition. The ICAC Investigators 2016 television drama series, participation at the Hong Kong Book Fair, and the district events co-organized with the 18 district councils. The program heightened their awareness of the importance of integrity, consolidated public support for the anti-graft works, and passed the torch of value of propriety to the next generation. President and fellow members, today Hong Kong is internationally renowned for being one of the cleanest cities in the world. And this is indeed a hard-earned achievement. But let us forget that in the 1960s and the 70s, bribery had been part of the people's daily lives. The success of the battle against corruption is hard-earned and is attributed to the rule of law, a sound legal and independent judicial foundation, a virtuous and relentless anti-corruption regime, as well as professional graft fighters, and intolerant of corruption and support for ICAC anti-corruption work by the public. Equally important are the invaluable contributions of members of the ICAC advisory committees and this Council. On behalf of the Commissioner of ICAC, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to all of them. As a member of the Advisory Committee on Corruption, I understand the ICAC will take on board the high expectations that the community has on its work. It will always continue to take on its statutory responsibilities, uphold the principle of impartiality, fight corruption with three-pronged approach on the fronts of investigation, prevention, and education to keep Hong Kong fair, just, stable, and prosperous. Let us continue to render our full support for the work of ICAC. Mr. President, I so submit.
林健鋒議員就廉政公署事宜投訴委員